Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the SPAC is not flowing as well as some companies would want it to. In fact, Vox and Group 9, two companies that were chasing SPAC, are now going to merge. They're going to merge the streams of SPAC together.
Okay, just
Super SPAC.
please stop. Anyway, would you just stop?
And this is probably happening because BuzzFeed floundered last week on the stock market.
But why would that make them merge? You think they try to be bigger to go for their attempt?
That's what I think is going on. And I kind of wondered if this wasn't going to happen. I mean, we saw BuzzFeed absorb the Huffington Post, and then they fired a bunch of people almost immediately. Basically, these digital media companies can't survive. And they were depending on SPAC and the stock market and another infusion of venture capital to keep them afloat. And when it became obvious watching BuzzFeed flounder, and it failed miserably, by the way, last week they were like, oh shit, we better just pull our efforts. We'll have one big company get some SPAC.
To work together.
So we'll talk about this. This could lead to layoffs. I think it's absolutely going to lead to layoffs because every time these companies merge, it leads to layoffs.
Well, it's interesting. We're going to talk here in a minute about what companies or media brands that you might know that are involved.
Yeah. And it's quite a few pretty sizable ones that I would have thought would have been, on their own, they would have been pretty decent and they would have been able to get some money, but I guess not. So I have to give a hat tip to CCG for sending this over.
Thank you.
This morning. Anyway, before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 246,000 subs.
Woo!
Almost 247,000. And no, Clownfish is not going to chase the SPAC.
No.
I don't think anybody would give us money anyway.
No. Why would they?
Not that kind of money.
No.
Although it would be funny if we were publicly traded, if we went to stock market and we actually had shares that were worth more than BuzzFeed's.
But that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. No, we don't want to give up the company. Because then people come in and then they want to tell you what to do.
Yeah, we don't do well with that.
No, we don't. So anyway, coming from Deadline, Vox Media buying Group 9 to create digital media powerhouse. That's doubtful.
Yeah, powerhouse. I guess it doesn't mean what it used to mean.
No, amid consolidation wave update, Vox Media has inked a deal to acquire Group 9, a leading collection of multi-platform media brands, including The Dodo. Now this, Pop Sugar, Thrillist, and Seeker. The portfolio will join Vox Media brands, including SB Nation, New York Magazine, The Verge, and a lot of these were, as I understand it, were separate anyway, and over the years they just kind of consolidated.
It's like was that what was the one you rolled the fat princess or whatever, and you roll her and she just keeps gathering everything?
Oh yeah. Then there's also Katamari Damacy, which was another one where you like roll stuff.
Yes, you just collect what you can collect.
Basically, at the end of the day, I think we're gonna have just one company that owns all of these websites.
Well, here's the rest of the ones from the Vox Media brands. The Verge, Vox, Eater, The Cut, Vulture, and Polygon, and The Strategist.
What?
Along with rapidly growing podcast and studios business,
Bullshit.
They diversified revenue model
Bullshit.
across advertising, content distribution, commerce, and subscriptions.
And so
again, was it Amazon affiliate?
Oh yeah, Amazon affiliate links.
Across distribution, commerce. Yeah, Dodo and now this are all over Facebook all the time.
Oh my God, they're basically just websites. They're just websites that have advertising on them. That's all it is. But they try to and they do video content too.
The video content, yeah.
And they're trying to make it out like they're much, much bigger than they actually are. And all of these companies at one point in time had hundreds of millions of dollars of cash
each.
Universal was pumping them full of money. I think it was Universal that pumped Vox and Verge full of money. And then they lost like $200 million. In Disney, they were corn feeding Vice, and they lost like $400.
Disney used to have interest in Pop Sugar too.
They did. And then they sold Pop Sugar. Whoever had it was a husband-wife team had it, and they sold it to this Group 9 like a year ago. They cashed out.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, I can't blame them either. The merger creates a significant digital media company and further strengthens Vox. No, it doesn't. Reaching audiences at scale on all platforms from podcasts to premium streaming services like Netflix and Hulu and YouTube and TikTok and Roku.
But TikTok.
All the
TikTok
buzzwords.
And Roku. I'm like, well, give us another year and we'll probably we'll at least hit Roku probably.
It's not hard. You can do all of this yourself out of the corner of your house.
Right.
Like, that's why these companies are failing, because there are content creators that can do and reach as many people, if not more people, doing it mostly by themselves or having small teams. They do not need multi-million-dollar New York offices and all the overhead and paying these reporters $150,000 a year. I have to wonder if we're not going to have layoffs at some of these companies.
Oh, there's going to be.
For sure, because that happened. As soon as BuzzFeed bought Huffington Post, they took a chainsaw to it and they basically cut almost all the Huffington Post staff.
That's what they're going to do here too, because it's going to be a lot of redundancies.
Okay, well, Polygon, we'll see. We'll see what happens. BuzzFeed, that was a disaster too, because I did that video where the old school employees couldn't even cash out of their stock options.
Well, they don't want them to drop any further.
No.
They all started, unloading their stocks. What would it have done?
Yeah, they started at, I think it was $10 a share, $10.99 a share on Monday, and by the closing bell on Friday, I think it was like $5.87. Now, it's gone up a little bit. I kind of wonder if Reddit's not going to pump it and dump it, but I don't know. But yeah, everybody's like, we're going for the SPAC. Group 9, they were talking SPAC back in January, and now they're getting sold to
that
Vox.
worked great. They didn't get SPAC, they got sold.
They got jack shit. That's what they got. So here's Vox talking about it. We're buying Group 9. Why are we buying them? The Vox Media Group 9 deal explained. No, it's not hard to explain. These websites are all failing.
They're trying to combine to try to look bigger, so that they, okay, like if you're out on a hike and a bear or some kind of wild animal comes up and they said if it's something that you think you can look bigger and to scare it off to do that. So like you get your friends with you and you try to look bigger, like you're a bigger size something. Yep. It's like that, but it actually doesn't scare them at all and they eat you. It's kind of like that.
So Vox is trying to make it out like they're writing this on their own website, and it's probably to ease the fears of some of their employees because they know what happens. They know what happens.
And it always happens when Disney bought Fox.
Yep.
It happened. And these companies buy other companies and they merge. There's always people let go.
Yeah, I love this. At least they're honest. Right on the Vox website. The mechanics of the deal, we can talk about some of those in a minute, are less important than the big picture. Collectively, the men and women who run digital media companies have been talking about combining with each other for some time. The optimistic version of that pitch, combining equals more reach, more efficiency, more awesomeness. The flip side, if we don't combine, we might not make it.
At least they're honest. So basically, it's Highlander.
It is. And the thing is none of these sites were viable on their own. They really weren't. They were propped up by venture capital. It's running out.
See, what gets me is if they were not profitable and viable on their own, how does combining them together make them more profitable and viable? Because now they have to hit higher numbers, higher thresholds. Yes, strength in numbers to a point. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
It's if people aren't reading your websites individually, it doesn't matter how much you combine. What's going to happen is it's going to be like IO9, where they had like a bunch of different, Gizmodo. They couldn't find a buyer, and that was before the pandemic, for years. So I'm like, what is the end game here? I think when these sites started, the end game was we were going to grow and grow and grow and grow, and then some sucker like Disney or whatever is going to come along and write us this, their cash out plan. Their end game was the SPAC thing. They were going to go public. Everybody was going to make a bunch of money. And whatever happened to the website after that, not my problem.
How can it continue to make money if it disappears? It doesn't. So there's no way to win. It's like if you're not strong enough to stand on your own, joining other people that aren't strong enough to stand on their own isn't going to make your wall stronger. And if you make yourself too big, no one can buy you.
Here we go again. All stock deal.
That's what this is, an all stock deal.
All stock deal. Exactly like the Huffington Post and BuzzFeed. And you know what happened right after that? They axed all the Huffington Post.
Oh, what gets better? Discovery.
Yep.
That's trying to acquire Warner Media will end up with 25% stake in Vox.
We were going to do a separate video on this, but let's talk about it now. Here's the thing. When Warner and Discovery merge, shit's going to get real because the guy in charge at David Zaslav, he has already gone on record in multiple interviews saying that he is interested in making money. He's interested in bringing back entrepreneurship. There has been talk that some of their top shareholders would like to see companies like CNN return to traditional journalism. Things are going to change, and there's not going to be a place for websites like this. Frankly, it's that has already passed. They peaked during 2016, 2017 with all the drama around the Trump derangement and all of that shit, and now there are too many of them. Not enough eyeballs. You really only need like 3 or 4 websites.
Which is why they're all trying to join up. And like you said, the end goal would be to sell off to somebody at a much higher price. The problem is, when you do that, you limit who you can sell to. For example, where we live, these people thought it was a fantastic idea to go build this mega mansion house, right? Millions of dollar house. And all of us, peons were like, well, that's great until you go to sell it. And then if you go to sell it, who the hell is going to buy that house? Guess what? Nobody.
I was going to say, guess what we did?
No,
Merry Christmas.
No.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, our kids would love that, though, actually. But there's no way. The point is, it's a great idea in theory, but in practice, it might not be so practical. No. And what happens is you build up this thing and you keep raising the price, saying, I'm worth so much. But you're only worth as much as someone's willing to pay. Ask IO9.
Yeah.
Gizmodo. Ask them how that works.
Yeah, they wound up selling for dirt cheap. And then immediately the new owners were like, stick to sports. We don't want your hot takes. You guys are going to have to start, bringing it. And here's the thing. They're talking about the advertising.
Advertising's down.
Advertising is way down. So again, we'll give you a little peek behind the curtain here. We do own multiple websites. We are a small media company ourselves. I can tell you that beginning in the summer, the ad rate started to drop, and part of that has to do with, I think, a Google algorithm change, and also that they're no longer going to be using the tracking cookies. So they're not going to follow you all over the internet and be like, hey, we saw you're on that website. You still want to buy this thing. So they're just kind of flying blind now. So what's going to become more and more important to these websites are direct ad sales, which means they're going to have to go hire people to go sell ads directly on the websites. And there are too many damn websites.
Well, that's what they're saying here. They're like, well, first of all, I want to point out that they're saying Vox Media will do $700 million in revenue next year, but only $100 million in profit. That's not great. And then down here, it says here, basically they're trying to put as many of these different websites together as possible so they can attract advertisers and be like, well, we got stuff for everybody. You like pets? We'll go to the Dodo. You like, pop culture bullshit? We'll go to this one. If you like, watching funny videos, well, you can advertise here. It's trying about giving more advertising money by trying to have a more wider range of sites.
Yeah,
it's a collective.
And yeah, exactly. And that's how, we kind of saw the death of webcomics, was everybody started joining a collective, because they couldn't survive on their own anymore. It was no longer viable. So they all tried to pool their resources. And the thought process, and again, this is Highlander, the thought process is if we all pool our resources, we're all going to be lifted up. But really, there's only room for one. And it's kind of like Survivor, where you might have alliances for now, but eventually when push comes to shove, somebody's going to get shoved off the island, and it might be you. What's interesting is right after they go into like, hey, yeah, we're going to, we'll sell ads on whatever site, and I'm not going to complain, but then right after that, give us money. Give us money.
Oh my God, that's Vox.
This is Vox. Right after they go into their financial situation, they put this thing up. We have until December 31st. We need 6,000 contributors from 6,000 financial contributions by December 31st to help us prepare for 2022. Please help a starving journalist.
Oh my God. They put at the bottom of this article.
Yes.
That's funny.
Give a gift to Vox today. Even a one-time gift.
So they can hit their $700 million next year with their $100 million in profit. That means $600 million as operating costs and other things that are breaking even.
And more of these sites are putting these PBS-style things up. And I'm like, you're not doing good at all. Like, you're not doing... Even the Mary Sue put something up. It's like, these sites are not profitable.
Missed opportunity there, Neon. For only $30 a month, you can make sure Neon doesn't sleep on an air mattress.
There you go. Yeah, so now is the time for Clownfish Minus.
Clownfish Minus. You pay more and get less.
You pay more and get less.
I know people don't pay anything, but you know.
That's fun.
You
But
don't
yeah.
require anyone to.
No, I'm telling you what's going on. And again, this happened kind of suddenly because they were talking. Group 9 was going to do their own thing at the beginning of the year. The switch was flipped over the summer with the advertising, and they're all freaking the fuck out. Is what's going on.
I'm sorry, I'm liking the more from Vox. It's a new kind of religion forming on the internet. Yes, it's called SPAC. How to teach wolves to be wild. A good life is painful. And if we can't beat the apocalypse, at least we can laugh at it. Hey, well, we kind of live by that here.
Yeah.
How to deal with even more uncertainty and the state of shrinking Build Back Better Act.
Okay, then. Well, good luck with that. Vox, you're going to need it because I think a year from now we're going to have about half as many journos, digital journos.
Get your popcorn ready.
There's going to be a lot of screeching on Twitter, but Twitter's even in decline, so is anyone going to listen?
We'll be here to cover it all.
We will be.
Hopefully.
We will be. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.